Peace up. I was riding this morning, man, and I was thinking to myself, like, first off, I'm gonna put my disclaimer on this before I even start to say it. I am not encouraging nobody to do crime. I'll put my disclaimer up once again. I am not encouraging no one to do crime. Doing crime is not a wise thing. So, man, if you're listening to this right now, and I don't want nobody to tap in and hear what I'm saying and be negative about what I'm saying and go back and say, well, OGC is out here teaching people how to do crime and influencing people to do crime. No, I am not encouraging people to do crime. I am telling you that anything that plays with the risk of your life being fucked over and fucked up is not wise. So doing crime is not wise. But therefore, I'm going to get into what I'm saying. Because no matter if I tell people to do crime or not do crime, guess what? They're going to do crime. Crime is always going to be done, whether it's white collar, non-criminal, non-violent, or violent. It's going to be done. So I'm going to say this right here because it needs to be said for more so, people that live in the gutter, and that believe on living on the wild side of life, because that's what I call it, the wild side of life. If you're going to do crime, and I noticed that you have a lot of older people, or you more so have young, experienced people who get into the life of crime, and they just don't know what the fuck they getting into. And that's what I'm noticing. And, this shit is sad. This shit is sad. And it's like it's frowned upon, or people don't want to be looked at as being the guy that looks crazy to say that people, you just need to learn how to do crime. If you're going to do crime, you need to learn how to do crime. If you're going to do crime, you need to know what your crime is. You need to know the elements of your crime, the stages of your crime. You understand what I'm saying? What your crime is going to offer your life. Your crime, committing a crime can ultimately change the reality of your existence. So therefore, it's on you and it's your responsibility to understand how much time your crime holds. Understand about, the judicial system. At least the bare minimum. A lot of people are getting locked up, and and it kind of hurts my heart, as an OG out here from these streets, and coming through the stages and going through my own experiences. You realize that a lot of people be getting into a lot of shit that they don't understand. People are actually out there committing crimes that's risking their lives to be killed, or risking their lives to be away from their family, their family, their kids, their mothers, for long amounts of times at a time. And you only get one life to live. So somebody got to step up and be the voice of reason. It's easy to tell a person to not do crime. Don't do wrong, don't do crime. Most times when you tell somebody that don't do something, that you come up as a child, they tell you never force the word don't do onto people. Because when you usually tell people don't do, it usually forces them to want to do. When you tell them they can't, then they like to prove to you they can. So you just can't go out telling kids not to do something, or telling youngsters not to do something, or telling people that's inexperienced at an old age not to do something, because ultimately they may come a point in their life where they want to find out what it is for themselves. So if they're going to do it, they need to be wise. So like I said again, I'm going to make a disclaimer. I'm not telling nobody to do crime. Doing crime is not a wise thing. Doing crime is a dangerous thing. But if you're going to do crime, you need to learn how to do it. You need to learn how to do it. Now, my thing with this right here, because I definitely don't want to tell people that you should be out there doing crime or telling you that you should learn how to finesse your way into doing worthless murders, you know, because I do not co-sign child molestation, you know, rapes, women getting raped, kids being raped, little boys being raped and taken advantage over, old people being taken advantage over, you know, the helpless, people doing, people doing roguish crimes against feeble individuals of the community. You know, I do not co-sign that shit. You motherfuckers need to be caught and put under the jail. You know, I do not co-sign wild ass drive-bys, you know, where innocent bystanders are getting shot and killed, things of that nature. I do not co-sign that. But I feel like everything else that's in the streets is for the streets. And that's just my opinion. When people give themselves to the street and they agree to play a game, whether it's on a hustler's note, a scamming note, or whatever note it's going to be, it could be on a violent note, then I feel like what street is for the street. You know? So whatever happens is what come along with it. But the shit I don't co-sign is the shit I just called out. People that are out committing worthless murders for no reason, you know, killing people over money that can be made, stuff like I feel like that's worthless shit. I don't co-sign that. I don't even co-sign doing crime. But I definitely do not co-sign those crimes. You know, you motherfuckers need to be put under the jail. Now I'm gonna get back to what I'm saying. Now, for all you youngsters that got OGs that's teaching you how to go out there and be fascinated to want to be involved in things that's of the street, whether you saw it coming up or whether you was just ushered into it as you got older around people that's out here doing things. The whole point is this right here. People are always going to tell you the great stuff. They're always going to glorify the stuff that will so-called get you the clout, that gets you the reputation, that gets you the bag, you know, or that gets you looked at in a certain light. Those kind of things. They're going to tell you that because all that plays in hand. It makes you feel good whenever you can walk somewhere and people respect you for certain things in the street, you know. But rarely, few of us that's out here in these streets are actually introducing youngsters and other people into the street life with everything laid on the table. And when I say everything laid on the table, you tell them the pros and the cons. You tell them the negatives and the positives, the yin and the yang. You let them know, yeah, it may be good in the aspect of what the streets say is good, but this right here is what can happen on the bad side. And not only just say it's the bad side, let these kids know what they're doing. If you go rob somebody in most states, and I'm from the South, I'm from Carolina, so I'm only giving you examples. You know, this same rules applies to what you have to ask yourself, you know, per se, by whatever state you live in. You have to know what you know. I know what I know as far as I'm in Carolina. If you rob somebody, typically you're looking at 5 to 7 years. You understand what I'm saying? If you rob somebody, if you shoot somebody, you know, in the process of robbing, you must know that that's aggravated. Any other crime done, any other felony done on top of another felony means it's aggravated. You need to learn these terms. You need to learn terms. You need to learn different things so you can learn and question yourself before you do a crime about what crime may not be for you. Every crime is not for everybody. You know? Every crime is not for everybody. And like I said again, I'm going to keep saying this over. Crime is not for nobody. It is not wise. But if you're going to do it, you need to see what crime is for you. Everybody's not made to sell drugs. Everybody's not made to scam. Everybody's not made to do whatever, X, Y, Z, or whatever it is. You got to know what you are able to do. You have people that want to hustle. You have people that want to hustle and know that they're only built for doing marijuana time, and they're out here selling heroin. You got people that know that they only can handle cocaine time, and they out here selling crystal meth. You got people that know that they can't handle major weight time, but they want to sell major weight. Everything is for the clout. Everything is for the reputation. Everything is for the look. Everything is for the glamour and the glory. You understand what I'm saying? But nobody knows what their case holds most times until it's the wrong time. You don't know that trafficking, the first level of trafficking cocaine, and I'm speaking in North Carolina, is more so 3 years on your first rodeo. A person with no record, 3 years. And these people won't know that until after they're locked up, and then they learn that they can't get probation for everything. Because most criminals, when they get locked up, they swear to God, they would like to believe that they can get probation for everything. And it's sad. And it's sad that they don't know that the crime they're doing does not hold probation while they're doing it or before they do it. And it's sad. It's the saddest thing. And whenever you don't understand what the repercussions of your crime and the consequences of your crime holds, you are building and breeding possible rats. And you, the person that's listening, may be a possible rat. And I'm not calling you a rat, I'm just saying, when you get people and you catch them out of the blue with things that they was not prepared for, then they start thinking for survival. Survival, they look at the rumors, they look at what they've always heard about the penitentiary, everything about what they heard about, jail, racist cops, rednecks, a crooked judicial system, all that start running through your mind. Now you're going to see whether a person is solid or not. And the majority of these people are not solid. I know back when I was in the streets, real heavy, and I made an unfortunate decision to jump off the porch and want to get into the life of doing crime and stuff. My choice of drug was marijuana. I did with dabbing in a little cocaine, but not enough. My choice of drug was marijuana. And even then, at 14, 15, 16, I knew that I never wanted to be up under the pressure of wearing a hard drug charge. I always told myself, well, if it's marijuana, I could do that crime. I could do the time for that. Hell, I could do the time for anything I put myself into, because I would never be a rat. I would never be a rat. There's no honor in that. So therefore, I know that I need to place myself in a ring where I'm not looking at much but a slap on the wrist. And marijuana was the slap on the wrist for me. That's what I would do. So my thing is this right here. When you bring people, and I'm speaking to the OGs now, when you bring these people in to whatever life you're bringing them into, and you're ushering them into, it's your job to let these kids know and these youngsters know. And like I said, I won't even say just youngsters right now, because there's a lot of old idiots out here, man, that just didn't know how to do a lot of stuff. And then coming from a black community, a lower income black community, the ghetto, the hood, where people is trying to make it out, then there's a lot of we begin life upside down. There's a lot of things we don't even know that we supposed to know as adults and young adults coming up. And I understood that after I got my time, after I got locked up at 19 and got sentenced to 10 years, And I start sitting down and everything, you sit down and look at life from the inside, and everything is moving on a carousel. But it's moving slowly, and then you get to see how lost you are as an individual inside this thing that we call life in society. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of us is always playing from the back end. You got to tell these kids what the fuck is going on. You got to let them know that breaking and entering could get you 7 to 9 years. You got to let them know that the reason why breaking and entering midnight burglary is is distinguished between regular burglary is because when you're breaking somebody's house after midnight and they could be possibly asleep and you have their lives in your hands. Therefore, that heightens, that aggravates the sentence that you could get in the court of law. The judge can send your ass away from here for 25 years of life for walking around somebody's house while their life is in your hands and they're asleep. That's the difference between midnight burglary and regular B&E. You understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit that comes along with it. You gotta know that in the process of doing another crime on top of a crime, that heightens it. Everything aggravates. There's a minimum sentence, there's a maximum sentence. There's levels. You gotta know your level. You out here doing crime, if you've been locked up at least once, then you're being irresponsible if you don't know half of what you're supposed to know. You have people that's habitual felon up here and they went to prison 3 or 4 times and still don't know the levels and consequences of their crime. They ask the same questions to themselves the 3rd time being locked up as they did when they was locked up the 1st time. That lets you know that they spent the majority of their time in the penitentiary doing fuckboy shit. That's playing cards, running around gambling. And if they was some homosexual, they was running around fucking with gunks, worrying about nothing, instead of sitting down, educating themselves on the life that they choose to live. This is a life that you choose to live. You choose to live the street life. It is your job. It is a forever educating process. You have to educate yourself every day if you choose to live that life. When you out here working in society, and you working a regular 9 to 5, or you got a career going on, the education never stops. That's why people get promotion, because you're constantly learning what you're doing. That's called a career. And a lot of you people are career criminals before you even 30. You are in a career that you don't even understand. And then you're learning it from people that barely know it they damn self. So when I tell you to sit down and learn the law, I don't mean listen to your ignorant ass OG that don't have no common sense up under his scalp, that don't know nothing. That means go get you a law book. Go get you a law book. And at this point, with the way that they really tossing out black asses, you know, or the minorities, and I would say the Caucasians that act like minorities. Because they're Caucasians that's living inside minority conditions. So for those individuals, you should live with a law book on your dashboard, like the Bible. You people be riding around with the Bible. You ride around with the Bible. You get into the courthouse, and then that's when you want to become religious. You want to pray. You want to ask God, and I don't knock that at all. You pray to whoever you pray to. But you need to ride around with a small law book the way you ride around with a motherfucking Bible, man. I feel like it's 2021. It's too many people out here trying to be dope dealers to not have a fucking law book and they be trap house in America. What the fuck is wrong with you niggas? I don't think nothing is wrong with having a motherfucker. You niggas is sitting around waiting for crackheads and heroin heads and pill heads and young ass addicts that's addicted to shit. You wait for them to come knock on the door all day and buy that motherfucking drug. In between time, your ass can be in there reading the law book while you're waiting. If you know how to read. And if you do not know how to read and you got an OG around you, that nigga should have his ass whooped. Because he should not feel comfortable being an OG knowing that his little homies can't read. You understand me? You gotta know that things like when you're in the game, you are automatically under the RICO law. You gotta know that the RICO law was made for syndicated people that run criminal enterprises. Yes, you gotta know that RICO was made for you. While you're letting the little 15, 16, 17-year-old and these old people that's gathered, you gotta notice when you join a gang that once you join the gang, you have just joined under the umbrella to be a part of RICO. They can put you a part of anything that happens. Meaning whatever happens with one person ultimately happens for everybody.